I have to ask, or my clients or my office workers or parallel industries, where do you come in? What are you helping me that helps me grow my business even more?
So, whenever I talk with an attorney on how to generate referrals, this is essentially what that looks like. We start by talking about which audience they want to market to. I believe there are
Hmm.
4 audiences you can target for
Hmm.
referrals: former clients, current referral partners, and future referral partners.
Hmm.
So, first, I would say, okay, who do you want to target referrals from? If you
Hmm.
don't have a list of current referral partners who send you cases, then maybe we don't start trying to create that list. Maybe we say, okay, great, let's focus on your former clients then. Because former
Hmm.
clients are some of the easiest referrals you can get because they've already experienced what it's like to work with you.
Hmm.
And so where I come in is I ask those questions to identify who are we trying to target from referrals.
All right, so welcome back to the show. Today we have a very special guest. I'm going to give her a long introduction because number one, probably she might hate me at the end of the episode, so I don't want to, miss out. You guys miss out anything. So Delisi Friday is my guest today. She runs First Call Friday, helping trial lawyers grow their practices through a very interesting marketing type, which is referral marketing. So, in short, you might have seen a lot of videos. She has been a wonderful asset to her father's firm. She has spent years in business development in St. Antonio, personal injury firms, and later chief of staff of one of the most famous lawyers out there, R. John Robbins. Right. So, welcome to the show, Delisi.
Hi, thank you.
Right. So, Delisi, I just want to, this whole thing, before I started, I thought I'd just get into the referral marketing thing myself, understand it deeply. But then I said that would actually strip away the whole idea of me learning from you. So, I actually did not prepare anything. In fact,
Okay,
I just took out some questions and I want to ask you. So,
wonderful.
I'm your student today for this particular episode. So first of all, going into the basics, I want to know what exactly is this new thing in the market, which is referral, or is it a new thing, really?
Referral marketing is not new. And some people actually don't think that there should be something called referral marketing. They think all marketing is the same and who you're targeting is different. I feel differently. I believe referral marketing is important because you need to make sure your marketing efforts have some portion of it delegated to driving referrals into your business. So, what is referral marketing? Referral marketing is the marketing you do for your law firm that is intended to drive and generate referrals into your business. And that looks different for every lawyer and every law firm out there. But I do encourage every lawyer and every law firm out there to take a moment and think, when I am assessing the marketing we're doing for our law firm, how much of this are we hoping to generate referrals from? And if you can't answer that question, then you should be thinking to yourself, well, what do I need to be doing to encourage those referrals to come into the firm?
So basically, uh, when I've met a lot of lawyers, they do depend on referrals. I do understand that, and a lot of firms actually just survive on referrals, right? So the point is that how is it like the marketing aspect, right? How can like lawyers know that they know somebody, there's a friend, there's a alternate, industry they refer, but why do you call it marketing in specifically, and how do you market this?
Yes. So marketing and sales are like sisters. People always get marketing and sales a little bit confused. So, first, let's talk about what that is. Marketing, and I refer to referral marketing a lot like dating. Think
Hmm.
of referral marketing as what you get for someone to want to ask you out on the date.
Hmm.
Sales is what happens on that date and if you go on a second date. And so they work together. your referral marketing should get people attracted to send you business. Your
Mm,
sales, your intake department, right, should be the
mm,
conversion that happens because
mm,
not every conversation is going to lead to business. Just like law
mm,
firms separate PNCs, your potential new clients, and your leads from conversions, actual signed up clients, right? Those are very different. The same thing applies to referrals. Someone can refer an individual for me, and that's just a lead or an introduction. It doesn't turn into the referral until you actually sign the business, just like it would inside of a
mm,
law firm. And so the marketing is what people are seeing,
mm.
witnessing, and consume to remind them why you are the right lawyer they should refer their family, their friend, their loved one to.
Right. So here's something I want to ask. You talked about the B2C aspect of it. Like I have a client and I ask the client, okay, I would you want to refer me to somebody else that you know? But how's it different from what you actually do, which is attorney to attorney referrals? Because that's something new that I have not, yet understood.
Yeah, that fuels my soul. Like, I love attorney to attorney referrals or B2B marketing. And the reason for it is there is no practice area, there is no lawyer I can think of who is not capable of referring business to another lawyer and is not available to receive referrals from a colleague. And here's why. If you think about this, no attorney, no law firm converts 100% of the calls that come into their office. If they did, they would have a problem.
Mm,
So, what happens with all of those people who need help and the phone call they're making is not the right person for them? Those can all be
mm,
referrals. So, why I get so excited about attorney to attorney referrals is because we can all help each other. If
mm,
someone calls their family law attorney and says, Delisi, you helped me with my divorce. And unfortunately, my sister just got pulled over last night for a DWI. Do you
mm,
know a criminal defense lawyer that I can refer to her? I trust you
mm,
so much. And I know whoever you refer is going to be great. Well, that family law lawyer can now introduce their former client to a criminal defense lawyer. And
mm,
so, with attorney to attorney referrals, you have current clients and former clients who have great relationships with their attorneys. And life happens, and suddenly they have someone they care about who needs an attorney, but they want to ask you, the lawyer, who you recommend. The other side of
mm,
that is all of the phone calls you get into your law firm
mm,
that don't convert. I am a big believer that every call that comes into your office is an opportunity to help someone. So take
mm,
it a step further and train your intake department. Hey, intake department, if someone calls about a family law case, if someone calls about a criminal defense case, personal injury case, estate planning, employment law, these are the lawyers I want you to refer them to because those are the
mm,
lawyers I trust and those are the lawyers I feel confident in referring them to. And when you do that, you're allowing your intake department to create those referral relationships for you. You're ensuring
mm,
that every time someone calls your law firm, they're getting the help they need, whether they hire your law firm or not. And when you start to become that connector, that resource, where every phone call someone is going to get help, then I think we make the world a better place. You help that person. You help
mm,
the lawyer that you're referring the business to. You're expanding your referral network. And I promise you, when you do that enough, when you
mm,
give, you will receive. And I think
mm,
that some people call it karma. I think
mm.
when you do that and you become the connector, then good things will happen. And those referrals will come back to you.
Well, that's true. And also, I think you could also look into alternate industries, like the parallel ones. Maybe people running financial services, maybe accountancies. So all these parallel industries can get you the clients, but this is the good part, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want to get into the bad part, and then we go to the ugly part for this, right? So I want to ask you, let's suppose there's a attorney I know, and he referred me some client, and that client doesn't fit my ICP, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to I don't want to do anything. I don't want to refuse that guy. Now I have this pressure on me, right? So, oh, my friend has referred this person, but I don't want to work with him. What do I do there?
So this happens quite frequently with my clients because just because someone refers someone to you doesn't mean it's a good fit. And I believe how you accept a referral and how you reject a referral are
Mm,
both incredibly important. If you
mm,
referred someone to me and it wasn't a good fit, what I would
mm,
do is I would have a conversation with that client. And once I determine it's not a good fit, I would say,
mm,
you know, Sam, I really appreciate
mm,
that Jennifer referred you to me. However, after hearing the details about your case, this is not a good fit for me to be
mm,
your attorney. And I
mm,
value Jennifer so much. And I know she referred
mm,
you to me because she cares about you. And
mm,
I want to make sure you get the best attorney for you and your case. I
mm,
think the best attorney to help you in this situation is going to be Will. Would you like me to
mm,
introduce you to Will? Will is someone I think
mm,
would be able to help you. And I would then, in turn, um, ask if that's a good introduction to make and if they want me to make it. I would also call my referral partner and say, hey, Jennifer, thank you so much for referring Sam to me. When I spoke
mm,
with him, he mentioned this is a slip and fall case, and I
mm,
no longer handle slip and fall cases. I don't want to go to federal court anymore. I
mm,
referred that case to Will because Will handles them and he does a
mm,
really great job. I refer all of that business to him. Thank you so much for thinking of me. Would you
mm,
like me to make an introduction to Will? Because if you ever have
mm,
someone else who has a case like this, I think if you refer them to Will, he'd be a great referral partner for you. That's who I send those cases to. And so now you've told Jennifer why you rejected the case. Now Jennifer knows not to refer you those kinds of cases because you no longer accept them. And
mm,
now you are helping the client by introducing them to Will. And now Will potentially could be introduced to Jennifer. Because I'm not just saying I'm rejecting the case, I'm done. I'm also providing you a solution. I'm saying, hey, let me introduce you to Will. That's who I send
mm,
these cases to. And I continue to be a connector. And that's the key part here. I never want to be a dead end. I always want to
mm,
be a connector and someone who is helpful because I want to help people and I want to connect people to the right attorneys. And that's the
mm.
mindset and philosophy I've had since I was 14. And my dad taught me to be like that because those people remember those experiences and they'll know just because Delisi couldn't help me, I know she's going to put me in touch with someone who can.
Yeah, all right. That makes sense actually. But where it kind of blurs out for me is that suppose I am running an immigration firm, which is transactional heavy firm,
Mhm.
and I would probably, if somebody comes to me and I say says that I want, do you know somebody in slip and fall practice area or something like that, I'd be very happy to refer that person. But if, let's suppose, I have uh, all my friends in immigration space, I would probably think twice before I want to increase my competition. So, do you think that if you're in the similar practice space, does the referral network really work, or should I just look for other sort of practice areas?
Yes, I believe it does. And I can prove it because
Mm,
that's what I did. So when I was working in house with Cowan Rodriguez Peacock, Cowan Rodriguez Peacock only handles personal injury
mm,
cases. And
mm,
95% of our business
mm,
all came from other attorneys.
Mm.
A
Mm.
bulk of that business came from other personal injury attorneys. And why is that? Because you used immigration as an example.
Mm.
There are different kinds of immigration cases. Someone can come to the United States and need a business immigration attorney because they want to open up a business here. Someone could come into the United States and they need an immigration attorney who can help them as an individual to finalize their papers. Those are two very different kinds of cases, and they're two very different kinds of lawyers. So, if I'm an immigration attorney, I would want to know who my colleagues are because if I can't help a client, I want to refer that client to someone who does.
Mm.
And you said, do I want to know who my competition is? And my answer to that is yes. And not everyone believes that, and not everyone agrees with that.
Mm.
And that's because I think differently. I don't believe I have competition. I truly don't. I believe I have colleagues. And the way I live my life is there is enough business for everybody. No one
Mm.
is for everyone. I'm
Mm.
probably not a great fit for a good majority of people, but they still need help. I would much rather be able to refer them to the right person than say, okay, good luck finding them. That's not who I want to be. I want to be a connector. I don't want to think of people as my competition. And when it comes to the legal industry, I think that is a mindset that will hurt attorneys
Mm.
because attorneys have an ethical obligation. And I think sometimes people forget there's opportunity in that because if an attorney has a conflict and they're conflicted out of working on a case, they have to, as an obligation to their bar license,
Mm.
tell that client, I'm sorry, I have a conflict. I cannot help you. Well,
Yeah.
when that happens, I want to have a whole bunch of friends who can confidently say my name and say, but I know someone who can. And so I
Mm.
think any attorney in any practice area can create colleagues and friendships with people in the same practice area because at some point in time, that lawyer is going to have a conflict and they can still refer you a case when that happens.
Excellent. Right. So basically, you talked about ethics, but I just found out that there are certain people who refer cases and charge a fee for that, which is probably against the bar rules, right? So, is that practice very common? And do people actually cross that line regularly? And if you kind of, do that, uh, how you should, approach that particular problem?
That could be a whole episode. So let me tackle that in a couple of different ways. One, yes, there are some people who will refer a case and say they want a fee for it. Um, that is going to change based on the state you're in and the bar rules wherever you practice and wherever your venue is. And I know when it comes to different marketing agencies that are selling leads, there are certain
Mm.
states in the United States that have now made laws against that, and those are prohibited. We were all talking about that happening in Colorado just this month.
Mm.
And so I think when it comes to individuals who want to sell a referral, I don't want to be any part of that. I want to have earned that
Mm.
referral, and I don't want to commoditize the referral relationship. Now, I
Mm.
also have been in personal injury long enough to know there are runners everywhere. And
Mm.
it is a shame when a lawyer has a runner take a case and they commit barratry and they do not follow the rules like all of us out there who do. I
Yeah.
very much am against that and don't want to associate with those lawyers. And so,
Mm.
what I will say is, I think there's a lot of benefit to lawyers referring to other lawyers and their ability, depending on their state bar rules, to be able to profit off of that
Mm.
because certain practice areas and in certain states, you can refer a case to another attorney and you can obtain ethically attorney's fees, a referral fee, depending on what that looks like. So in Texas, you can
Mm.
refer a client to another attorney, and if they sign them up, you can sign a contract and do a joint consent to associate, and you can receive a portion of those attorneys' fees ethically. Other
Right.
states are going to have other rules. So I think it really just depends, like we like to say in the legal industry, on the state and the bar rules. But in my personal opinion, I want to grow my network from relationships where someone isn't referring me just because I'm going to give them a kickback. They're referring me because I'm the right attorney. And some lawyers
Mm.
feel differently, and that's why we're all able to have our own opinions.
Excellent. Right. I completely understand that because this is one of those practices which are very common, and lead generation through, um, lead buying is actually a very common tactic that people use. But if I see you as a person, right, I do understand I need to make relationships with people. And in fact, I'll share a story with you. When I started my own firm, the very first client I got was through a referral, because
Mhm.
obviously initially nobody knows you, right? Nobody knows your firm. So people, whether you run $10,000 ad or maybe like 50K ad, it doesn't really matter unless people know you. So my question is that, say I understand I have a friend, I have to ask, or my clients or my office workers or parallel industries, where do you come in?
Mhm.
What are you helping me that helps me grow my business even more?
So, whenever I talk with an attorney on how to generate referrals, this is essentially what that looks like. We start by talking about which audience they want to market to. I believe there are
Mm,
4 audiences you can target for
mm,
referrals: former clients, current referral partners, and future referral partners.
mm,
So, first, I would say, okay, who do you want to target referrals from? If you
mm,
don't have a list of current referral partners who send you cases, then maybe we don't start trying to create that list. Maybe we say, okay, great, let's focus on your former clients then, because former
mm,
clients are some of the easiest referrals you can get because they've already experienced what it's like to work with you.
mm,
And so where I come in is I ask those questions to identify who are we trying to target from referrals. And then I say, okay, let's talk about time, team, and tools. How
mm,
much time do you have to dedicate referral marketing efforts? How many
mm,
people on your team can help? Or is it
mm,
just you and you don't have anyone on your team? What
mm,
tools do you have available? Do you
mm,
have a corporate account with handwritten? Do you have tools? Can sometimes be money. You don't have a big
mm,
team, but you have a budget. Let's work within a
mm,
budget. And so we talk through what that looks like, because I want to create a referral marketing strategy where it's really clear who we want referrals from. And then once we decide who we're trying to target for referrals and we know time, team, tools, then we can identify what are the tactics we're going to do to generate those referrals. And the tactics are things like sending a happy birthday card to your former clients.
mm,
That's a very easy thing to do and to automate to stay in touch
mm,
with clients one time a year. If you have more
mm,
time, team, tools, great, let's do multiple things. And so I'll coach and consult based on that. The other part where I
mm,
come in is I work with a lot of associate attorneys who want to be
mm,
rainmakers. If
mm,
you're an associate attorney and you can bring in your own book of business and referrals, you are so much more valuable to any law firm you ever work at. So sometimes
mm,
I will coach the associate attorneys and I'll say, great,
mm,
let's talk about who are you talking to? Who are you staying in touch with? What are you doing to make sure the people in your network make it easy to refer business to you? Because you
mm,
have to also make it easy to refer business to you. Do
mm,
people remember what you do and who you help? Do you stay in touch with them? Those are very simple things, but they're very simple things that we forget to do. And so that's where I come in, depending on
mm,
whether it's a lawyer who needs one on one coaching, or whether it's a law firm that wants me to train all of their associate attorneys to be a rainmaker, or it's I work with a lot of solos. lawyers who just open up their own law firm and they have to generate referrals to keep the lights on because they don't have a budget and they don't have a
Mm,
team. It's just them.
mm,
And so I have my online community, Pocket Docket, and we meet 3 times a month. And I'm like, let's do this. Let's talk about it. What are you doing? Let me do a training and
mm,
let's talk that through. How do you do it? And sometimes people need that because you need someone to
mm.
hold you accountable and guide you through the process, or you just won't do it.
Yeah, exactly. And the one of the attorneys I recently met, he said that Tiger Woods, when asked why are you so successful, he said because of my coach. Because obviously everybody needs a coach because, like you said, accountability is one of those things which are very, very important when you're just starting out. And it's also important when you're just, ending everything because obviously you have to be accountable for everything. But
Yeah.
Delisi, there's a dilemma, right? The dilemma is, say I just opened my law firm. I don't know people at all, right?
Mhm.
Probably people of my same age. They're also struggling somewhere, right? And everybody's like trying to meet their ends. Now I go on where to find these people to sort of meet and network with and hope for that they're going to provide me referrals without me giving them anything in return because I'm not capable of doing that right now.
So, do you want to know where I suggest that person go and what they do?
Yeah, so walk me
Okay.
through. So I'm a new guy, right? Okay, what do I
I
do?
so
What do I do? Where do I
first I
go?
would say, okay, who do you want to target referrals from? If it's from other
Mm,
attorneys, then I would say, what practice area are you in? And what practice areas do you think can refer you business? My
mm,
philosophy for every lawyer is to have a contact in what I believe are the 5 main practice areas:
mm,
personal injury, criminal defense, family law, estate
mm,
planning and probate, and employment law. Those are what I believe to be the most common practice areas because the everyday consumer at some point in their
mm,
life will need to call one of the attorneys.
mm,
Everyone dies. So actually the estate planning attorney, if you told me who's the most important, is the most important because everyone at some point is going to need an estate planning attorney because we all
mm,
die. And so
mm,
my suggestion to that young lawyer would be make a strong contact with every single one of those practice areas and start from there because those are the practice areas that get the most phone calls and they work with the most people. Then I would
mm,
say go on LinkedIn,
mm,
post, comment, connect, and send direct messages. LinkedIn
mm,
is free 99. It costs you
mm,
$0 to go on there.
mm,
And there are so many attorneys on LinkedIn who are there to make real relationships. The key is this is not Facebook or Instagram where you just post and
mm,
ghost and you think referrals are going to happen. You have to actually connect with people. Send someone
mm,
a direct message and say, "Hey, Delisi, I really love what you said the other day about criminal defense lawyers. Do you have 15 minutes for us to hop on Zoom and meet each other? I'd love to actually put a face to a name." Make
mm,
those connections, and that is free. I would start with those practice areas. I would start on LinkedIn. None of those things cost you a penny. And then I would grow your network from there. And you said, well, how can I expect a referral in if I have nothing to give?
mm,
You do have something to give: your time and your energy.
mm,
And I think true connection between people and the relationships that you create have a lot of value. And while you may not be able to refer a case, you are able to connect with another lawyer and
mm,
create a connection that leads to referrals. The
mm,
only thing that's stopping you is you taking the action to build that connection and that relationship. Can I
mm,
guarantee you that those relationships are going to lead to a case referral right away? Nope. No one can. And if someone guarantees that, you should run. But I can guarantee you that you'll start to make enough connections and you will start to create a network, and something will come from that, whether it's a case referral or an introduction to someone
Mm,
else, a speaking
mm,
engagement, or honestly making a friend who understands
mm,
exactly what you've been through and
mm,
can help be that support when you need it. There's so much value
mm.
in all of that.
I completely understand that. I do understand that you need to, if you can't physically be uh, somewhere to meet the actual person, you can go through LinkedIn. But LinkedIn has a lot of noise, right? Right now, lawyers are one of those, people who are bombarded with all sort of connection requests, right?
Hmm.
Now, how do I stand out? Because obviously, there are 10 other people or 10 other young attorneys listening to you right now, possibly, and they might do the same with everybody now. So, my proposition is going to dilute as I go. How do I stand out when I'm sending that message? Do I
Yeah,
wait? Do I comment? What do I do actually?
sure. So let me preface by saying 40% of my business comes from LinkedIn.
Hmm,
And on LinkedIn, I am in the top 1% of the 1.2 billion users across the
hmm,
world. And
hmm,
the reason is because I use LinkedIn differently. I use it to
hmm,
connect with people. And I'm going to
hmm,
tell you exactly how I do that. I make sure every single week I am connecting on LinkedIn with people who match the criteria of the type of attorney I want to connect with.
hmm,
And then once I've connected with them, I send them a direct message. Hey,
hmm.
Maria, thank you so much for connecting with me. I'm really looking forward to learning more about you and your law firm. That's it.
Right.
All I'm
Hmm,
doing is saying hello. Here's why
hmm,
that's important. Now, Maria knows I'm saying hello. If Maria wants to say hello back, Maria can say hello back. The
hmm,
other reason why that's important is LinkedIn has an algorithm that is trying to pick up on the cues that you give it. And when I send
hmm,
someone a direct message on LinkedIn, the LinkedIn algorithm is going to say, Delisi wants to connect with Maria.
hmm,
Let me feed Delisi's post to Maria's feed so
hmm,
Maria can see all of Delisi's posts and they can try and connect. That's
hmm,
very intentional. What I
hmm,
will do next is I will continue to comment thoughtfully on people's posts. And if someone has a post, I will either make a decision to put a thoughtful comment or I will send them a direct message and say, Hey, Michael, I really liked the post that you did the other day about how you prepare for depositions against safety reps.
hmm,
I found so much value in that. Thank you for sharing.
hmm,
And what I do is I call that offline marketing. I'm no
hmm,
longer doing that in front of everyone. I've taken my
hmm,
comment and my conversation offline. So now Michael and I have an intimate, private conversation. So Michael
hmm,
can now respond to me privately and I
hmm,
stand out. The other
hmm,
thing that I do is I tell people that I want to meet with that I want to meet with them. If
hmm,
I'm commenting and they're commenting back, at some point, I'm going to ask them, hey, you know what? We have been commenting on each other's posts for quite a while. And I would love to just take 15 minutes and say hello. I don't want my relationships to just stay on LinkedIn. If they
hmm,
just stay on LinkedIn, then I am
hmm,
relying on hope. I'm relying
hmm,
and hoping that turns into a real relationship and that relationship leads to referrals. But I can't
hmm,
cash a check on hope. I
hmm,
cannot make money off of hopium. I need to
hmm,
actually convert that person from someone in my network to someone who
hmm,
actually knows me and feels comfortable referring me
hmm,
business. And that will
hmm,
never happen if all I do is rely on LinkedIn to post, comment, and connect. If I never
hmm.
send that DM, I never say hello, you're just relying on hope. And hope does not pay the bills.
Yeah, you're very powerful. Actually, I've actually read about opium before in a book. So it's
Yeah.
funny you mentioned that. It brought me some memories back. But yeah, the thing is that obviously, when there's a lot of noise these days on LinkedIn. So I genuinely sometimes cannot understand if somebody who's posting is posting himself, or maybe some assistant has done it. Maybe
Hmm.
it's their thoughts they're putting in, or they're using AI to do it. So I can't really understand whether this person is actually posting himself and is real, and he likes to be very kind to people. So I connect with them and I'm like, okay, hi, how are you? It's great connecting with you. And then they don't reply because probably somebody else is trying to, handle their own LinkedIn. So what do I do? Do I chase them? If they don't reply, I'm commenting on them, and then maybe they get one or two comments, and then I again DM them. How it's going to happen? Because it seems like
Yeah.
it's the same thing, that it's basically, I'm not making a case here, I'm just chasing them again and again, being a pest in their DMs.
You bring up a really great point. There are some people out there who post just to check a box, just to
Mm,
say, yes, I am on LinkedIn. You can find me on LinkedIn. And there are
mm,
some people who do it and are really truly there to make connections and network with the right people.
mm,
You're not going to make 100% of the connections you want to make on LinkedIn. And you're not going
mm.
to, that's just like conversions in every business. Not every phone call is going to
Yeah.
lead to a client. In my mind, marketing is a numbers game. I know I have to send a certain amount of DMs and have a certain amount of phone calls before I find the right lawyer to work with me. And so
Mm,
I see every attempt you make as a step closer to identifying whether or not that's a person you want to create a relationship with. Because here's the
mm,
thing, not everyone you reach out to is going to be
mm,
someone you want to create a relationship with. If
mm,
I send a bunch of DMs and I comment a lot on someone's post on LinkedIn and they never respond, I consider that a win because now
mm,
I know who I don't want to create a relationship with.
mm,
And here's the question I want you to ask yourself. If that's how they treat me, if they
mm,
don't communicate with me, how do they treat their clients?
mm.
Because in my
Exactly.
mind, someone who cares about the work that they do and cares about the message they send and cares about creating a network of the right people, they're going to respond. They may respond really late. Hey, Delisi, so
Mm,
sorry I didn't get back to you. I was in trial. I completely respect that. But if you've made
mm,
multiple attempts to connect and they don't reciprocate, great.
mm,
Now I know who I don't want to create a relationship with. Because here's the thing,
mm,
what if you had a case to refer? Are they going
mm,
to respond then, but only because you have a case? If
mm,
that's really what's happening, then I don't want a relationship with someone like that.
mm,
I want a relationship with someone who's going to pick up the phone when I call them, who's going to
mm,
respond when I send them a message, because that is indicative of how they're going to treat my client and my referral. Because how you do anything is how you do everything. If you do that and think that's okay, you probably do that somewhere else in your business and you don't deserve my referral.
yeah. Yeah, it should be reciprocated in that
Hmm.
sense, because obviously uh, being respected is more important than being liked, I believe.
Yeah.
You can't just be, likable to everybody. And you've actually made a great point here, that actually brings me to my next topic, and that is the conversion rate, right? So, in your experience, um, doing networking for 2 to 3 hours, possibly in a week or maybe more, I'm not sure about that. Why shouldn't I just start my own YouTube channel and start posting videos, or start writing blogs on Substack where people are already there, my buyers are there, maybe post on LinkedIn. So, sorry, Reddit. So, why do I need to actively chase referrals from other attorneys when I can just have my own content on these specific search engines organically giving me, like, getting me in front of the clients that I want to work with?
The answer to that is really simple. You should not put all of your eggs in one basket. You
Mm.
should not rely on just one marketing tactic or one marketing platform to generate business.
Mm.
Do you remember when we had some issues with TikTok? And
Yeah.
TikTok wasn't allowed for like a week or 2 weeks or something
Yeah.
like that. And everyone was freaking out. Oh my God, TikTok, TikTok, I'm on TikTok. That
Yeah.
fear that people had because their law firms ran on TikTok, they were only on TikTok.
Mm.
That fear should be bottled up and saved, and a reminder to every law firm who is freaking out because they were only on TikTok. Use that same analogy
Yeah.
anywhere else in marketing. People think because all I do is teach and talk about and coach and love referrals with
Mm.
lawyers that I don't think anyone else should do anything else. No, that's actually not
Mm.
true. If you have the time and the team and the tools to create a YouTube channel, absolutely do it. If you have the time, teams, and tools to hire a digital marketing agency, amen.
Mm.
Go do it. You
Mm.
shouldn't just do one thing. You should be
Mm.
marketing yourself in a variety of different ways because you never want to put yourself in a position where if one source, if one area of your business no longer attracted the right amount of cases for your law
Mm.
firm to live and be profitable, then you've put yourself in a really bad situation. I believe
Mm.
everyone should be doing something for referrals because referrals come with a level of trust that an ad will never buy. You will
Mm.
never buy the
Mm.
trust on your YouTube account that a referral can generate. And referrals will always convert at a much higher rate than whatever you're paying for your LSAs and your PPCs and your AIO and SEO and BINGO. Referrals will always convert at a higher rate, and they are always going to be a much easier conversation to have because you've made an introduction to someone. They're not this cold lead who isn't sure if they should really be calling you. And so everyone should be focusing on what they're doing to encourage referrals
Mm.
because that's a kind of case you're not going to get from an ad. I have clients all the time who tell me, I had someone call from an ad and then we didn't convert them because they said their sister referred them to an attorney they worked with. And I said, okay, I'm sorry you lost the case from the ad, but I want you to remember this is why we do the work. This is why
Mm.
referrals are so important because you just told me you lost money because the referral that was free 99 beat you. And that's something we
Mm.
can't forget.
Yes, exactly. That's true because I think referrals are kind of unpredictable sometimes, but obviously the conversion rate is way higher. But like the point is really valid where you shouldn't put all your eggs in one basket, and that's the thing about it. And honestly, in your background, I just saw that there is a book. This is marketing by
Mhm.
Seth Godin, and I think that's one of the best books that every lawyer or every other industry, anybody who's trying to run a firm should read because that covers a lot of stuff, right? But yes, but I want to know, Delisi, right? So in that boot camp, I think it's a training session that you do, right?
Mhm.
Um, what do I exactly get in that? Like you said, 3 meetings in a month, right? In those
Yes.
3 meetings, this is a group session, right? And within that group session, like, am I getting the tips and tricks or some hacks to kind of, uh, get the code behind the success? What is
Yes.
it about, really?
So, Pocket Docket with Delisi Friday is my
Mm.
online community, and my
Mm.
memberships are in 6 month increments. And what you
Mm.
receive from that is a resource library of resources I provide for everyone there to use to help them with their referral marketing efforts.
Mm.
I also
Mm.
have an online training. It's
Mm.
5+ hours of modules that I created so everyone can have and understand the foundations of generating
Mm,
case referrals. And
mm,
each month, I do 2 live group trainings where I spend
mm,
that hour training people on different aspects of generating referrals.
mm,
And then 1 hour a month is a group office hours. And it's
mm,
really a great chance for all of the attorneys in the group to come together and say, hey, Delisi, you know, we were talking about how important it is to always be prospecting and growing the people in our network. I'm really struggling
mm,
with that. Let's talk it through.
mm,
Or another
mm,
attorney will come in and say, you know what? I just need someone to tell me I'm not alone because I feel like I'm
mm,
throwing spaghetti at the wall over here and nothing is sticking. And we talk that through together. And sometimes there's real power in knowing you're not alone. And sometimes people learn differently when they hear someone else ask the question. And when they
mm.
listen to my response, they're like, ooh, that actually hits a little different because now I'm not the person asking it, but hearing it helps me understand this differently. And it's really building a community. I love putting lawyers who care about referrals in a room with other lawyers who care about referrals because
Mm,
just 2 days ago, one of them referred a trucking case to someone else they knew in the group. And I was like, this is why we do it. This is
mm.
why we do
Yeah.
it. So y'all can all refer cases to each other. And so
Yes.
the value is in the 3 hours each month that we're meeting with each other, but it's also in the network of lawyers you meet who all care about referrals and the resources and the training modules. Whatever they want, I will do it. I just want lawyers to do something to generate referrals.
That's actually a pretty good point, and I think it's really really nice that you've been doing this, specifically the live sessions, plus the in house sessions, which are great. In fact, I think no matter which AI model you purchase, maybe Claude, Legal, or whatever, Harvey, anything, any intake, anything, any technology, if you lose the human connection, you basically become nobody because unless you have to work with humans, you have to, refer to humans. That's how the whole economy works. So, Delisi, it has been a wonderful conversation. I learned a lot, like I said initially. I hope that I did not offend you. Like I said, that I try to not to. But if you have anything that you want to mention to my audience that I haven't or I failed to ask, so you can do it now.
Yes, I do want to say one more thing, and that is I hear a lot of lawyers lately who are very concerned about the future of the legal industry because everyone is talking about AI and everyone is talking about private equity. And so,
Hmm.
what I do want to leave your audience with is this: AI is never going to replace true human connection. And private equity might flood the industry with extra marketing dollars, but private equity is not going to compete with the relationships that we have with each other.
Hmm.
And even if private equity takes over these volume firms, those volume firms will still have capacity issues while they try and figure
Hmm.
out how many attorneys can work a case. And that's when those referral partnerships still hold a very important value
Hmm.
because private equity still wants to make their money back. And if they don't have the bandwidth, they do need referral partners they can trust to help ensure the client gets the help they need and their case settles or goes to trial. And so
Yeah.
a lot of people are concerned. And I understand that because change isn't easy. No one likes change unless you're an entrepreneur and then you're like, hey, let's change every day. And I just want people to think about the opportunity that's in front of us and how whatever happens with AI, the relationships that we have can never go away. Those are things AI can never replace. In fact, I think it makes them more important. And when it comes to private equity entering the space, it's here, it's not going anywhere. Don't let that deter you from creating real relationships with people because it
Hmm.
does mean the industry is going to look a little bit different. But what's not going to change is the relationships you have with other lawyers and other law firms. and those can still be extremely profitable.
Yeah, that's a really good closing argument because I think AI is probably forcing us to become more humans, connect with
Yeah.
more people. Because, in fact, I do this. I do a lot of podcasts, and my main reason is to put my face out there, right? Before that,
Yes.
before AI, I would have never done this, honestly, honestly, and probably you're doing the same. So you can build the human connection to people talking. That's a great thing. Thank you so much for joining in today, Delisi. I'd love to, because this AI thing, I think this is the hot topic, and I'd love to talk to you about this again sometime. And
Yes.
it should be a whole complete episode. So thank you again for coming in.
Thank you so much for having me.